welcome back. My name is Shamika and this is Check the Rhymes. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm super excited about today's show because joining me is one of my favorites, the Love King himself, Raheem DeVaughn. Woo, it's about to get hot in here, so go grab your fans. We're going to be talking about his new album. We're going to talk about the latest single, Marvin Used To Say. And I'm even going to throw some questions his way that you guys submitted to me on Twitter. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss today's show. Don't forget your fan. It's about to get hot. Joining me today, I have the Love King himself, Raheem DeVaughn. Thank you and welcome to Check the Rhymes. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. Well, you know what? Listen, I feel like, and this is a big comparison here, but I feel like you are my generation's Marvin Gaye.
Wow, that's what's up.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take that on any day.
Okay. All right. So let's jump right into the obvious song, Marvin Used To Say. Tell me a little bit about like what inspired you to do that song, the process, and even how Marvin inspired you.
Yeah. Well, Marvin is a huge influence, as well as a few others. I always wanted to do a record that was like dedicated to him, like, you know, kind of like pay homage. Mm-hmm. And, but also, you know, I'm no stranger to making socially conscious music and content. So I felt like it's appropriate time, you know, once again to do that. I kind of typically, if you really pay attention to the pattern of the projects, I kind of do every other album. It's like, I'll go that route. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just the time that was happening in the world at that time. Mm-hmm. It was actually scheduled for me to drop the third installment of like the R&B trilogy series that, you know, which is, you know, Decade of a Love King was the first pack. Second was a Love Reunion, and then it, you know, it's still going to come out 2021. But this record is more. It's a dope record though. Like it's, you know, I think it's going to go down. People may say it's probably one of my best pieces of work to date. It's titled "What a Time to Be in Love." Mm-hmm. Marvin Used To Say is the lead single off of the record, and you know, the creative process of the single happened very organically. A friend and buddy of mine actually had sent me the record. It wasn't done in its entirety at the time, and I like begged them like, "Yo, you should let me get this record." Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they were like really cool with it. They were cool with it, and I was like, "Yo, I think if I did this record, something big, there's a mystique behind it that could happen, and the timing is perfect." And I've been looking for something to like jumpstart my battery, and that was it. And kind of like from there, you know, the rest of the body of work it was put together very organically, like it always did, like it always is. Big shout out to the colleagues who are producing the entire project, who I worked with previously on different records, Black Ice Cream, That Way, All I Know, real versatile, take great direction in terms of like when the artist knows what they want to do. Right. And so yeah, it happened real organic. Okay. No time like the present to use our gift for, you know, to make socially conscious music. So yeah.
Exactly. You call it movement music, right?
Yeah, exactly. Across the board, whether you're moving in the bedroom, right, or whether you're moving them feet to the poles. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Which means y'all better get out and vote.
Indeed. Definitely exercise that right to vote.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the album. What can we expect? Any collabs on there? What, you know, tell me.
It's no collabs. It's no features. It's pure Raheem DeVaughn vibes. Okay. You know, reminiscent of my first album, The Love Reunion. Okay. And you know, I think it's going to hit really hard. You know, just fall, winter. You know what I mean? It'll be a lot of winter. Would they be spring and summer babies?
Yeah. And you know, we coming upon cuffing season, I guess, or whatever whatever the youngsters call it.
Yeah, whatever they call it, right? Yeah, it's definitely that time, you know.
Okay. Definitely. All right. Well, I can't wait to hear it, and I'm sure everybody else. You know, we were just talking on Twitter, so I rarely do this, but I knew that they would be excited about this interview. So I'm going to throw some questions at you from some Twitter folks.
Okay. All right. Let's have it.
All right. So the first one wanted to know, have you ever thought of doing a Marvin Gaye tribute album? like a whole album of just Marvin songs?
I plead the fifth.
Uh-oh, that sounds like there's some tea in there.
It's some hot bubbling tea in there. It's bubblicious. Hot. It's peppermint, and it has agave nectar in it with a little lemon twist.
I'm drinking it in my Check the Rhymes mug.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Another one is, what song do you wish out of your body of work? Is there a song that you wish would have been a single that wasn't one?
I think Mo Better is probably the biggest record. Probably one of the biggest records of my life. That it's another record. I got a list. Real talk. Yeah, Mo Better. Nobody Wins a War. Man, I got a couple of them, man. I think that those were huge records. That could have been huge records. Maybe, it's still time, to re-release them.
Okay.
Greatest hits or something. I don't know. couple of mixtape joints in there too that I could,
okay.
serve. She single, which was like, mixtape. That record, that video actually changed my career. But
speaking of mixtape, I do have a question about that too.
Okay, cool.
Somebody wanted to know if you were going to bring back the Jackin' for Beats mixtape series because it was fire.
At some point, maybe. I mean, truth be told, my last couple of albums have been mixtapes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they hit kind of like how the mixtape would hit sonically. The mixtapes were always a little more edgier on the production side, and so I now approach the album like I would a mixtape. A good friend of mine kind of got in my ear and was like, "Yo, man, you should. The mixtapes be crazy." And it's like, does that mean the albums don't be butter? And it was like, nah. I was just like, all right, I guess what you're saying is, what would it sound like if I took the mixtape formula but made the album like hit like that? And so I've been definitely, as of late, that might be what the synergy of what people are feeling like, with the Love Reunion album and Decade of Love King previously to that. Okay.
All right. And then I know we're running out of time, but the single Secret Garden, I guess that was the 2020 version. People wanted to know, why did y'all touch a classic? And that song, for those that don't know, is with Sean Stockman, Raheem, Cisco, and Omar Wilson. So you know how Black folks are.
Yeah. I mean, when you say why did we touch it, was it that they didn't like it, or they? I mean.
No, I think it was more the news before the song came out. They were asking.
Oh yeah. I saw when the flyers started the artwork started circulating. Oh, I saw all the comments and whatever. I expected it though. I mean, but I expected also us to get the reception that it's had. It's climbing up the charts crazy right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's number 1, top 5, top 10. By the end of the year or the top of the year. It's definitely going to be one of those records that's not going to go anywhere. Anytime soon. It's around, and I think people like what's familiar to the ear. That was initiated by Omar Wilson and his camp, because technically it's his record.
Right.
Whom I befriended like 2 years ago at the Image Awards. So we just clicked and always stayed in touch. So when his team reached out and said, "Hey, you want to do Secret Garden?" I was like, "Yo, I'm all for it. I know I'll kill it."
Yeah.
I had questions, though. I wanted to hear the production. I wanted to make sure that was up to par, which it was. We bounced names of The Who, and some people declined, said like, "Yo, I don't know if I could touch that. I shouldn't touch that." At the end goal, in helping quarterback it, the end goal was, let's make sure it's so dope that more people like it than people that don't.
Yeah. I like that y'all stayed true to the original, but you still made it your own.
We made it our own, and that's what you should do with a record, and I think we accomplished that, and people, for a generation who may not have ever heard the original, which is, I know that sounds hard to believe, but I've heard that. I've gotten that response too, like, where it's like they heard our version first, and then they went back and heard the original, and like, "Yo, I like your version better." You know what I'm saying? So like, but it's no disrespect to the. I mean, you can't like surpass like James Ingram and El
Right.
DeBarge and like, you know what I'm saying? All you can do is kind of just like salute it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Quincy Jones and just like
Uh-huh.
what that was, Barry White, like it was just a vibe. So that's what we went for. We just wanted to make sure in 2020 it still felt like a vibe, and I think we accomplished that. And
Absolutely.
Quincy has you know, gave his blessing on it too. So yeah,
Okay.
that's always good.
Did you hear from like Albie Shore or El
Me,
DeBarge?
I haven't heard. Me and Albie are tight, so I know it's just a matter of time before I run into him or I get a phone call. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of time.
I'll be checking his social media to see if he posts
Yeah.
something.
You know, we clicked. Me and him. He actually tracked me down because I remade night to day
Uh-huh.
for a mixtape.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, I remade it, and it came across his radar, and he got me on the phone and was like, "Hey, man, you did that." He was like, "You did that," and I was like, "Yo," like, you know, he been big homie ever since, man. You know what I'm saying? We had some great talks, and I love the brother Albie Shore, man.
That's
Definitely icon.
awesome. Is there any, I think one more question came in and I know we have to go, but they wanted to know, is there any song that you wish, like from any artist that you wish you had done first?
I got a gang of those. Anything that's been the majority of anything that's been number one, top, you know, number one over the last, you know, decade or two. Now, there's certain records that yeah, you know, but I mean, everything has its time. You know, typically
Yeah.
if it's a record or somebody I'm a fan of, I feel like it's a hot jump. I jack it anyway. You know what I mean? So it's, you
Right.
know, do my own rendition of it or remake it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely some dope remakes coming down the pipeline that I have in the catalog that I haven't released yet.
Okay. I can't
Yeah.
wait, along with that pipe and tea that you mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah, piping hot, baby, piping hot.
And then I just thought of this question real quick. You know, obviously it's pandemic, and some states are opening up, you know, for opening up their venues, or people are doing the drive-in venues. So, what is your, I guess, touring kind of schedule going to look like?
I mean, it's starting to heat up right now. Believe it or not, I did a drive. I think I broke the ice. Like we did, myself and Music Soul Child did Columbus, Ohio, 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
This month alone, I'm doing. It looks like, well, I know this month for sure I'm doing Atlanta,
Okay.
Georgia. Just, you know, the ink is dry on that. And I'm also doing Cincinnati.
Okay.
The ink is drying on that as we speak, and it looks like Birmingham. Excuse me. It looks like Birmingham is going to also be. We're putting up on Birmingham too. So I'm starting. You know, the phone is getting active. You know, typically we jump on the road and just bust it down. You know,
Okay.
I've had to take a few flights. You know, post COVID. You know what I mean. Shout out to Keith Sweat, who flew me down to do the Sweatshop, and he did a free concert, which required us traveling. So, you know, just precautious and being safe and using your common sense, and
Right.
but also not living in fear. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That fear sometimes can just be a shocker killer.
Yeah.
You know, across the board. So just not living in fear, using common sense, staying healthy, getting the proper rest, taking the vitamins, you know.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, hopefully you'll make it back down here to Charlotte, North Carolina. I think I saw you at the Fillmore a few years ago.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what year that was, but I was there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today here on Check the Rhymes.
Yeah.
And tell me when the album drops.
The album will be dropping November 20th. It's called What a Time to Be in Love. And the pre-order will be available October 30th of this month. So you can pre-order the album digitally, and, you know, there'll be physical copies, as well as hopefully vinyl at some point too.
You just said the magic word. I love vinyl. So,
Cool. We're gonna work on that.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you again, y'all. The Love King on Check the Rhymes.
Love.